The mid-season update for Season 16 just dropped, but the team is already teasing that Season 18, which is still months away, is going to be another big one. What can we expect exactly? Let's have a look. Look, even if you are still very upset and angry about everything that happened in Overwatch in the last, let's say 4 years, deep down, somewhere in your gut, you need to admit that both Season 15 and Season 16 has been some of the most refreshing content that Team 4 has been putting out. As I mentioned in the previous video, this is a new era for Overwatch, a new age, and it is looking pretty good up till now. To the point where I'm just kind of ready to enjoy whatever is going to come, to enjoy the raid, and try and get a good taste of everything they have to offer. But Blizzard seems to realize really well that standing still is basically moving backwards when it comes to games as a service. Some of their competitors have recently also bumped into that realization, but they don't seem to have the proper talent or the funding to correct their mistake. The Overwatch team luckily does, which is a very lengthy way of saying that the team needs to keep swinging hard even if they want to stay afloat. New heroes, new maps, it isn't simply going to cut it anymore. At least not just new heroes and just new maps. We as players have grown hungry, we are spoiled, we want more. But it looks like Blizzard has more to offer, so that's good. In several of the interviews that the team did, and more specifically that Aaron Keller did in the last few weeks at the launch of Stadium, he keeps hinting at the fact that Season 18 is going to be a big season, or a banger as he calls it. He actually said it in a director's take he did on May 2nd about the past, the present and the future of Stadium. A banger. Haha. Now, while it is in a director's take about Stadium, I don't think he meant anything related to Stadium. Sure, Stadium is going to evolve over the next few seasons. There's going to be new heroes added, a new game mode, new maps. There's all kinds of features that they're thinking about. They gave us a full roadmap showing us when they're going to release all of that. And yeah, some of it is in Season 18, but I wouldn't call that a banger. And yeah, we're also getting a brand new hero in Season 18, Aqua, a support hero that I presume has a lot to do with water, unless he's very inappropriately named. But what else do they have planned for Season 18 to make it into a banger? Well, first off, the summer season, which is always released somewhere in August, has historically always been a big season. The first year after release, that was Season 6, Invasion. Remember that? Release of PvE, Yari, Flashpoint mode, Hero Masteries, and so much more. Now, if we look back at all that content, it wasn't their biggest hits, but definitely a lot of content. Next year, Season 12, we got Juno. There was a new Clash mode that included 2 maps. There was a new anniversary event, and much more. And it was also the first reset of competitive after they did the big rework 6 months earlier. And for Season 18, I think that we need to be looking in that same direction. A new competitive reset. That is definitely going to happen. And it might come with some big new features for competitive. At that point, hero bans are going to be it. We have them right now. Next season, they're going to add map votes. So I guess once those two are in Season 18, it's time to kind of shift gears. But what could that actually be? To be fair, it could be anything. I'm thinking new types of rewards. It might be a whole new rank system. Maybe there's even a whole new rule set. It could be an optimization both at the start and the end of a match, which I think is needed. In a way, I think they're also looking at what we're doing in Stadium, because that is a very different system. If we appreciate some elements of that, they might kind of use them as an inspiration on what they're going to do with the other modes. Now, the cosmic weapons are going to stick around. Those only reset every year, so that will be February 2026. But is all that enough to call it a banger? No, not really. So I'm thinking that we might also get a completely new game mode. That seems to be a bit of a tradition now, that in August they launch a new game mode. And the good thing is, if that is the case, we won't have to wait till August to know what is happening. They'll probably want to test it in Season 17, which is starting in June. And as with every mode, there's going to be 2 maps included. Now, we know that a Tokyo map and the Atlantic Oncology are coming in Season 19. Atlas, the new Flashpoint map that is set in Morocco, is coming in Season 17. So that kind of rules all those out. Maybe we'll get a few more of these rework maps like they did with Paris, Temple of Anubis, and Hanamura. So maybe they're going to rework Volskaya and Lunar Colony for that new game mode. Or who knows, maybe they have completely new locations. What else? Well, they brought back loot boxes. Made a huge difference in the level of rewards that we get for just simply playing the game. Especially for those people that prefer not to spend too much money in the game. Yet, on the other hand, the core progression and the main reward vehicle for Overwatch is still the Battle Pass. And while that definitely has shifted in the amount of content that is in there and the type of content, the structure, that itself has been the same since the launch of Overwatch 2. And they have been saying themselves that it could use a redesign. They actually said that at BlizzCon in 2023. And I'm thinking about stuff like the prestige levels. They definitely need a redesign. There have been voices of people that want to kind of keep a battle pass in game, much like Marvel Rivals does. There's a ton of ideas of what they can do with the battle pass, and Blizzard is known to kind of take those ideas and push them a little further into something that we didn't even know we wanted. Look at Stadium. One way I want to see them use the Battle Pass is as a platform for that lore that we want so badly. Overall, Overwatch 2 could use a little more love when it comes to the lore. And I mean that in the best way possible. They managed to build a beautiful world with amazing characters, yet they don't tell us the story anymore. Well, they do, but there's more ways. For one, we want to see the return of those beautiful cinematic shorts. And I'm not talking about pants. You know what I mean. Cheeky buggers. But we also want to learn about them in the actual game, and systems like the Battle Pass are a nice vehicle to do that. Other games have done that. Now, before you jump into my comments, no, I'm not talking about PvE. As I've said before, for this game, PvP game that we're playing, that door is closed. But for Team 4 and for the whole Overwatch team at Blizzard, they are probably still looking in ways of getting that done. Not next year, not in 2 years, but on the long run, they might pick it up again with a different team. We'll see. That's my theory. I've been wrong and I've been right. So we'll see. But until that happens, they need to use PvP to tell the story, among the other stuff like the cinematic shorts. At least in my humble opinion. Now, to be fair, well, all of this, everything that I just said in the last few minutes, is an educated guess. Anything could still happen. They could come up with a very surprising twist, something I would never have thought about. It could even be a lot less than everything I just described, and an utter disappointment, which would be surprising. I feel like the team finally got the ball moving again, after all those years, after all those videos I made. And I'm sure that they're dead set on keeping this ball rolling, because this new era of Overwatch that we're currently in is way more enjoyable for everybody involved. For the players, for the haters, and for the developers. We'll just have to wait and see what they come up with, and how right I was with this prediction. We'll check back in a few weeks. But if I should find out anything before that, I'll let you guys know, which is my way of saying, subscribe. But what do you think? What is their plan for Season 18? What do you want to see? Let me know in the comments. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my Patreons. I could not make these videos without you guys. You too can become part of the family over on patreon.com/theomnicpost. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos and make sure to subscribe. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.